Hello, Wayne Township. This is John Ulbright. I'm one of your math coaches, and for this blended bite, I'm going to be sharing with you some of the resources I've made and assembled together into this website. You can see the address up here. It's just geogebra.wayne.k12.in.us. Also linked a lot of places in its learning, so it should be pretty easy for you to get to, and hopefully easy to navigate as well. This homepage has a little bit of background information, but really its main purpose is just to share with you some of the newer materials that I've made, usually around the last 10 or so. And then if it's not something new that you haven't seen before, it'll be, and even if it is, but everything is linked over here on the left side, which you might have to navigate to with the little 3 bars depending on your screen size. But anyway, grade levels are over here, and then within grade levels are also the narrower strands of each standard. For each, let me go to 3rd grade. For each applet, I've got the link, the title, a little bit of a description, and then an animated GIF just to kind of jog your memory or give you an idea, if you haven't ever seen it before, give you an idea of what it might be. These will fall into 3 broad categories that sometimes overlap as to how you might use them, and how you want to use them informs how you're going to share them with students, whether there are things that you want to put on your computer and demonstrate for your students or as an accompaniment to their thinking, or whether that's something that you want them to be able to use on their own and experiment with and kind of play around with. So the first category are ones where I would say we're trying to generate curiosity or give kids opportunities to predict things or estimate. There are things that I like to use for anticipatory sets in order to, A, get a little kind of subtle skill practice in, but B, really more as a formative assessment, and C, typically kids seem to like these things. The first one I'm going to show you is just called, what's the number? Oh, I already had it open there, but good to show you this anyway. Sometimes you'll bump into a link that says like the page has been moved, and just click on that link and it will get you to the right place. So this works by you selecting whatever sort of number limit you want. We get a number. And the idea here is that by not giving students enough information, I'm intentionally leaving out most of the information they need, also the information that you need as a teacher to be able to answer, exactly what number is that. But I'm giving you space to think creatively and be a little bit more open-minded in the kinds of conversations that you might be having, because we don't have enough to say who's wrong and who's right, at least off the bat. So this would be a lot of kind of turn and talks or whatever that might look like in a digital space, but meant to open up some discourse and allow kids to feel right in ways that they don't necessarily always feel right. In particular, I can tell you, I can ask you to give me a wrong answer here instead of just a right answer, because that's going to allow you to feel a little bit less pressure if you're a kid that has low math confidence, but also it allows you to use a lot of the same kind of thinking that you use to give me a right answer. Anyway, so I'm going to move through this more quickly. The slower you do this with the slower you do this with students, probably the better. I'm going to go quickly. So you click this button, you make your prediction. I think it's about 50. Oh, okay. What did I just learn? I learned that 50 would be right about here. So I know it's a little bit less than 50. So now I think it's 30. This just puts the numbers on there if your students need that support. And then we zoom in, and then we reiterate that process. Do I still think it's 30? No, I'm thinking maybe it's like 28 now. Okay, so then I keep going, and at the end, maybe we have some sort of conversation about what are some things that we want to notice when we are locating numbers on unmarked number lines, so on and so forth. So this is something that I think you can probably use. These kinds of applets you can use a couple or a few days in a row, but you don't want to overdo it. I mean, you'll be able to tell when your students are kind of ready to move off of this. The second category that you'll notice is a kind of applet that, whoops, reset this one, that is meant to accompany thinking. So like the students are doing math and we want to have something side by side it, either as another kind of representation or to help to provide a visual or to help them see the algorithm that they're doing. So this is a distance guessing one. Instead of just giving them the 2 points like happens in my classroom, or a lot of math classrooms, I can show you the 2 points and allow us to, let's actually take a guess as to what the distance would be instead of just plugging it into the distance formula. Type it in, maybe you say it's 11. That was a pretty good guess. Okay, so I know that the answer is between 11 and 12. And now I'm going to throw my numbers into the algorithm and into the distance formula and see what that shoots out. There's a few buttons on this one that will allow you to kind of show the legs of the triangle and whatnot. But basically, there's a lot of these that are designed to go alongside student thinking in ways to illustrate things that are oftentimes unillustrated or that might be helpful for students to see, especially as they're struggling with some mathematical concepts. The third category is the one that so these first two are ones that I think you as the teacher kind of want to hold on to and control the way that the information flows, because the more you can slow it down, probably the better. The third category are ones that I call pattern noticing ones, where it's maybe some sort of mathematical concept that students haven't had much experience with, but we can give them some experience and allow them to notice patterns in a way that's going to allow us to launch into our input a little bit more effectively. So like this is, let me reset this one again. So this is one that is right along those lines. So, if I've done some work with dot plots, maybe my next step is to learn how to draw box plots. In a lot of places, that means teachers start off with a 5-number summary and then say, this is how you draw the box plot once you have done these 5 numbers. This would be one where you're just going to get to drag these around and see what kinds of patterns you can notice. So if I drag these, I say done, I'm going to find that I'm lining things up well in some places, not well in other places. And the idea is that by doing this a few times, like in rapid succession, I'm going to have some takeaways. My teaching point here is not that you're drawing a perfect dot plot, or a box plot rather, but my teaching point is for you to notice some patterns as to like, where are these lines lining up? So can we start to make some predictions about where the lines are? And that's going to allow me to launch into the 5-number summary in a little bit more effective way. So this is just a real brief taste of the kinds of things that you'll see on this Wayne Township GeoGebra resources website. I'm always interested in hearing more ideas so that I can share, make things for you and then share them with the Wayne Township community as a whole. But any questions or suggestions you have, I am always happy to hear those. Thanks. Bye.